We're here at the Student Roses Awards 2010 in Manchester, and I'm joined by Rob Taylor from Like a River, and he's been here judging this year's entries this afternoon. And Rob, I just thought I'd ask you about the standard of the work that you've seen today. Have you been impressed?
Yeah, I mean, every year it seems to be improving in the breadth of the quality through all the work that comes in. I think what's quite nice as well is that there are 12 professionals really who get to the end of the day and, broadly speaking, agree on the best work without too much fighting, let's say. The process is quite finely worked out at the moment, in that all the work, every single piece of work is subjected to each individual judge going through every single piece of work and then scoring each piece of work on its merits, and then quite democratically those scores are then totaled up, and we're left with the basically the piece of work with the highest scores. So it's quite robust in that sense, and sometimes the danger is that democracy allows through a piece of work that everyone thinks is okay, and then it's when the judges get together then and say, well, really, you know, this piece of work isn't that remarkable, so let's move it along. What about this piece of work? And again, each individual judge has the opportunity to champion a piece of work and pull out its little clever bits, its nuances, if you like. So yeah, I mean, it's 10 or so individuals spending a full day looking at possibly, I don't know, 200 or 300 pieces of work, and I'm sure at the end we do find the best pieces.
And I mean, have there been any particular pieces of work that have stood out for you today? Is there anything that you've really made an effort to kind of champion?
Each agency sets a brief, you know how it works, and then I've got special interest in the work that comes in against our brief, and yeah, I think the two guys, the team that have won against our brief, I'm looking forward to meeting them and giving them a placement, seeing how they think together and apart, because it would be quite interesting really to see whether or not they're one's a writer and one's an art director, or they're both multi-talented.
Okay. And can you just, I mean, for people who don't know, can you just tell us a little bit about the brief that you did set and what you asked of students to come back to you with?
Yeah. Well, the brief was pretty straightforward in that it took an industry which is seemingly not marketed in terms of a career proposition, and that was the undertaking, the funeral business.
Okay.
And the brief asked really to create some kind of recruitment drive, or what would it need to get people enthusiastic about becoming a funeral an undertaker or a funeral director. And there was some very quite humorous and quite different approaches really to the subject of death, let's say, and some nice little clever lines and executions. Yes, so very good.
And did you see any work there that you think, that's got the potential to actually go into the market and to go out there and work and do that job?
Yes, I mean, we don't actually have a client, or we're not working currently with a funeral business, but certainly there are a handful of pieces of work which I would quite happily take to the client and say, hey, look, we threw this brief out and this is what come back. It's quite a good way of approaching young people and saying that you should consider a career in undertaking.
Okay. And overall then, Rob, from all the work you've seen today, would you say you're quite positive about the kind of new talent coming into the industry? You've been impressed generally with what you've seen today?
Oh yeah, definitely. So out of the, I'm guessing on the numbers of work, but let's say there's about 300, and then it's shortlisted to possibly about 50 or so pieces of work. Those 50 or so are actually really good pieces, and then from those 50 we've got 3 really good ones. So it seems to be working out about right, and considering that most of these entries are from second year students, that's good news, because they're only going to get better, aren't they, as they get further on in their educational career.
Absolutely. And given that you've been involved in the Student Roses before, Rob, how do you think the standard has kind of changed over the years, or how do you think the standard this year compares to when you've been involved previously?
I don't think I can answer that accurately, because some years you're disheartened by the lack of quality, and then other years it kind of links up and you think, well, we've got an excellent crop of people this year, and I think that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's just the luck of the draw. I am optimistic though that the competition itself seems to be attracting steadily a larger number of entrants, which is good, because then as the more credibility comes to the competition, then we'll be attracting people further on in the education system then.
Okay, great stuff. Right, thank you very much for that, Rob.